I'd like to welcome Marcus Kisoon and Amanda Choo. Marcus is our program assistant, and he will speak on the BTS partnerships in general, highlighting some activities over the past year. And then Amanda of the Hugh Law School will speak of the work of the Law School's Human Rights Committee. Marcus Kisoon and Amanda Choo.
Protocols having been established, good evening, friends of Break the Silence. My task today is to share the activities and campaign initiatives by the Break the Silence that have been completed or are ongoing since our last gathering in 2019. In the interest of time, I will only highlight selected projects which will provide a brief overview of the work BTS is currently engaged in. The initial objectives of the Break the Silence and Child Sexual Abuse campaign are: one, to increase public awareness about issues related to gender, child sexual abuse, and the implications for HIV. Two, to increase public awareness about existing resources for preventing and responding to child sexual abuse and HIV. And thirdly, to influence leaders, service providers to increase their commitment to gender-sensitive, evidence and human rights-based policies and interventions that prevent and address child sexual abuse and the implications for HIV. In order to achieve these objectives, BTS continues to establish new and build existing partnerships and collaborations which feed into the continuity of the work on gender and ending child sexual abuse. The BTS partnership and collaborative initiatives work well to expand creative and problem-solving capacity by bringing multiple perspectives and social change agents at different levels towards the advancement of the collective objectives. With this strategy, it allows for all participating stakeholders to inform the understanding of child sexual abuse and to maximize awareness raising, advocacy, and campaigning in multiple spaces. Through this framework, BTS has managed to achieve significant results than if we were working individually. For our last networking meeting, in 2019 to present, we have continued enhancing our work relationship with various organizations and invested stakeholders. BTS has been reaching out to and working with numerous communities, students in high school and at tertiary level at UWI, and migrant communities, and with broader activists and NGO collectives and communities. Here are some. Women of Substance organization located in Tobago has been a partner since 2017, and the BTS has contributed to their work, including on their Boys Symposium, which is part of their International Women's Day activity. Also, we have continued to work with the Ministry of Education Student Support Social Work Unit Central Division and 5 secondary schools in the central area to complete murals on the school compound. It is expected that when COVID-19 allows for the reopening of schools, an estimated over 2,500 students will be impacted by the messages and resources shared in this artwork. On the 10th of November, BTS engaged with 16 secondary and primary school social workers in understanding gender and its implications on child sexual abuse. Further training with parents is scheduled for the later part of the month. We are pleased to inform that the Social Work Unit head of the Student Support Services Northeast Division has indicated her interest in revamping its BTS campaign, as Sandy Grande was an active player at site for BTS work in its early days around 2008-2009. We believe that these initiatives will improve our relations with the Northeast community, Arima to Toko and beyond. In 2008, BTS was approached by the Hugh Law School Human Rights Committee to engage with BTS activities, our activists, and our scholarly publications. This is the start of an emerging relationship between the BTS, IGDS staff, and the Hugh Law School Human Rights Committee, which can serve to strengthen the nexus between academia, activism, and the legal practice to advocate for the common objectives in the protection of humans and more so children's rights. The mentorship is in its second cycle, and to understand the impact of BTS on and our beneficiaries and the wider society, I would like to invite Amanda Choo of the Hewing Law School Human Rights Committee to share some reflections on the partnership with BTS. Allow me to introduce Amanda Choo, who is a second year student at the Hewing Law School and is from Barbados. She is the vice president of the Human Rights Committee, and Amanda is no stranger to community service as she has done work during her secondary schooling in Barbados and continues to do so in Trinidad and Tobago. Amanda Cho holds a bachelor's of law degree from Cavel in Barbados and is interested in children rights and migrant issues. Amanda Cho, all yours, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Marcus. Protocols having been established, a pleasant good evening to all. I'm Amanda Choo, the Vice President of the Hugh Law School's Human Rights Committee. This committee was established to inform students of their basic human rights and to help law students understand, appreciate, and build upon their teamwork so that we may use our knowledge of human rights to work for social justice and raise awareness of human rights issues within the Commonwealth Caribbean jurisdiction. We hope that the experiences and work we begin in the community will be carried on throughout our careers so that more attorneys view human rights not just as a subset of the law, but view the law as a tool to further human rights issues. Our committee functions by interacting with members of the society, especially the disenfranchised, to uphold their entitlement to their rights. We do this by engaging in various volunteer activities, such as making visits to elderly and children's homes, hosting seminars on domestic abuse and migrant issues to raise awareness, and by conducting food, clothing, and gift drives for donations to various organizations. This year, in light of the ongoing pandemic, our two major projects are the donation of masks to underprivileged communities and a laptop and tablet initiative so that children can have access to education during this time when technology is of utmost importance and has become a basic right. In an effort to expand our reach beyond ourselves, last year the Human Rights Committee decided to partner with the Institute for Gender and Development Studies and Break the Silence campaign, as they were known to be very experienced with social justice and engaging in various outreach activities and training. This partnership has proven to be quite valuable, as our experience with Mr. Marcus Kisoon from BTS has been tremendously beneficial, as he has acted as a mentor for us by providing training and educating our members on the gender implications for children affected by child sexual abuse, and on how to interact with the various vulnerable groups in society, as well as educating us on the issues of gender, power relations, sexuality, and the nuances that children such as migrant children face. For instance, in 2019, the International Organization for Migration found that more than 3/4 of migrant children aged 5 to 18 who had migrated from Venezuela and had been in Trinidad for more than a year still did not have access to formal education. Instances such as these has opened our eyes to the barriers that exist between groups and the varying degrees of privilege that exist, which can have detrimental effects on the ability of different groups to enforce their rights. We've been able to recognize our own privilege and realize that it is our duty to do all we can to help those who need it, as even the smallest acts of kindness can make a large impact on one's life. Furthermore, BTS has continued to assist and offer creative ways of bringing awareness to issues, providing educational seminars to our members, and making positive introductions to help expand our reach. For instance, Break the Silence has introduced the Human Rights Committee to the Living Waters community and to the Organization of American States, and facilitated a migrant workshop so that our members could become aware of the issues that face migrants within our jurisdictions and what laws exist. While our experience with BTS has not yet been very long, it has proven to be incredibly beneficial, as BTS has helped broaden our perspectives on how we as law students can start framing human rights issues against the backdrop of the law. For example, our committee has started to reflect on what rights and protections exist for persons whose gender identity and expression is outside of the norm, and what laws exist outside of the region that perhaps can be transposed to help protect these individuals' rights. From understanding these problem areas, we are better able to adjust our efforts, sensitivity, and professionalism to cater to each group and help them in the most gender just way. Our relationship with BTS has continually taught us that partnership always enforces and amplifies our promotion of human rights, and it has encouraged us as burgeoning attorneys to do more research on what legal paths exist to assist these persons, and how we can inform others on the ways that the legal fraternity can be more proactive on human rights issues. For instance, although Trinidad and many other Caribbean countries have adopted the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, with one of its guiding provisions being that the best interests of children are to be of a primary concern, as yet no country within CARICOM has ratified the optional protocol that allows children to directly approach the UN about their own human rights abuses. As we see today with the youth such as Greta Thunberg who are taking action and making their voices be heard due to the shortcomings of adults to bring these own issues, legislation such as the protocol should be implemented to help our children further access their own rights. To conclude, from our involvement with BTS through the training seminars and other workshops, it has become evident that while the law can help and has been in place to help these underrepresented groups, it is not always effective. Greater attention needs to be paid to how legislation is used and what further legislation needs to be enacted and used in an effective manner. However, besides legislation, of utmost necessity is the involvement of as many persons to bring awareness and assistance to these issues and persons. The fight for gender and child's rights is worthwhile and necessary as it affects us all in some way. It is our committee's hope that in partnership with BTS, we can use our knowledge to help give children a stronger voice and bring about effective change for now and in the future. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Amanda. That was wonderful. And thank you very much, Marcus, for that little presentation on the BTS partnerships in general and the partnership with the Hugh Law School, which is really important. We really need legal advocates who understand the issues that we are trying to address. Now, I think what has been really good about the campaign to bring awareness to child sexual abuse in the entire region has been the use of audiovisual media. We already saw 2 videos prepared by Dr. Jones and the University of Huddersfield, as well as the None in 3 project. And we also saw 1 video that came out of the UWI St. Augustine IGDS BTS project. So now we are so pleased that we're going to see something, an ad, a helpline ad from the Sweetwater Foundation, which allows us to understand and know a bit more about what is happening in Grenada.